all these apps, they're corrupting the way we talk to each other.
Like, I will cut that relationship. Nice knowing you. That's fine that you speak that way, but you're not allowed to speak to me that way.
Everything is so sexualized today. It bothers me. 5 minutes. You only got 5 minutes, and then you start hearing it?
Yeah. A girl looked at me and was like, "You're so bold for wearing that right now."
Oh, she was saying something
And
different.
I need someone with good communication.
Girls have a biological clock, but men have a
Right.
financial clock.
Oh, I'm gonna get so canceled. What up, guys? My name is Jordyn. I like the car, and you're watching Blazar Vision Media.
Woo!
Unbelievable.
No.
That was my first time. That was pretty good.
That was good. Look, we might have you do the intros from now on.
Yeah, let's run it for sure. You have my number whenever you want.
So, guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm joined by Jordyn, the one and only, right?
Yes.
And
yeah, and I. Oh, sorry.
No,
I just wanted to add, if I'm holding my ear, it is because my earbud is not fitting, so I'm not covering my face.
oh, and we have to talk about how you managed to get this setup to work.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm a genius here, bro, because this is how I got it. I basically took my mom's AirPods and I set them up to where I'm FaceTiming you right now. And then I got my own AirPods and I set it up on my iPad. And then so now I'm recording the audio and I'm recording or basically FaceTiming you at the same time. So actually, I'm so surprised that it worked, but it came in handy,
Yeah,
right?
it's 2 sets of AirPods are in her ears right now. Not 1, 2 sets. Just to get this to work.
Apple, sponsor me.
Yeah, seriously.
You're right.
Yo, reach out.
For real.
So today there was a topic that you wanted to talk about, and it was relationships.
Yeah.
I think this is a really interesting topic to talk about. But I want to ask you, what made you want to talk about this?
Okay, so the reason why I want to talk about this is because, and like you know briefly of this, but I had a really weird encounter with somebody, and I'm obviously not gonna say who, I'm not gonna go into any detail, but I remember it was so weird. And I was like, it was just very humorous, and I was like, I need to tell somebody. And I remember vividly, I just saw you across the room eating baklava in the corner. and I was like, I need to tell Anthony. Anthony has to know this story. So I remember I busted out laughing to you for 30 minutes. We're just wheezing and laughing. And then somehow this went from like a humorous story to like a deep connection about like relationships. And we we're like, people need to hear what we talk about because I feel like we have such really different perspectives. And I think it's just so interesting. And I want other people to learn from that. So just any way we can learn from each other, people can learn from us. Like, people don't have to agree, but if they do, that's cool. So, I don't know. I just thought it'd be something really interesting we can, like, dabble with.
Yeah, and this conversation initially spawned at the convention, and that was fun. That was a fun time.
Yeah, it was cool.
we just went off. That was so funny. And maybe we'll touch on
Yeah.
some of the hilarious points today. But, okay, I mean, wow. So, where to start? I mean, we could talk about, I was thinking, what do you think a guy finds attractive in a girl?
Oh, okay. I think immediately a man looks at appearance. Like, if she's, like, her hairstyle, her outfit, kind of the way she carries herself. Like, I think men like girls that are more confident. I think if girls are like insecure, and like I get insecure sometimes, like, but I definitely think like if a girl is more to herself or if she's like anxious, like he can sense it, and I think that's immediately like no, like not my type. But I think like our hair, the way we like our outfits, the way we carry ourselves, and like just preference like that. And then I think after that part, they break into personality. So kind of like, is she funny? Like, is she what I'm looking for in a wife? I think you guys have this sense where the second you meet a girl, you're like, okay, like, is she gonna be the one I can marry one day, or is she just kind of like another girl passing by?
She's right.
Am I
No,
right?
you're right, 100%. I think.
Okay, cool.
I think so, yeah. I think just to add on to what you're saying, like a guy first looks at looks because for some reason, right? It's like a status symbol. Like if you have a very attractive girl
Yeah.
by your side, it's like, oh, I got that, and so it makes the guy feel really good. But also, we're just
Right.
attracted to what we see, and then we go on to personality and other things that are very important too. But the first thing is like the attraction, I would say.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
so
So what do you find attractive like in a girl?
I think for the most part, it is looks. The first thing is how they take care of themselves, how they present themselves to the world. I think is very important because that shows like,
Yeah.
that they care about themselves, their body, their physical appearance. But after physical appearance, it's got to be personality and how they view important topics like family and kids
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like those things are like super important to me. So I actually like to ask questions like that in the very beginning, just so I just get the elephant out of the room, right? I don't want to waste time. I don't think the other girl wants to waste time. I just like to ask those
Mm-hmm.
questions in the beginning to see if like there's compatibility. So for me,
For
that's
sure.
how I look at
Okay, for sure. I respect that. That was a
it.
solid answer. You're pretty on point. I'm not gonna lie about it. Just like stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
But yeah.
Hmm. There's so much to go into, right? We could just what's the next thing? Um I mean, is there anything that you find like do you find anything like any stereotypes that guys have about girls like that are not true? Do you find like is there something that guys think that attracts girls and really is like an ick, like something like that?
Kinda. I kinda have like it's kind of along the lines of what you're asking, but it's kind of like a little twist. But it's like kind of shooting back to what we were talking about, like personality. I think some guys genuinely have an image in their head and they're like, this is the kind of girl I want. Like she has to like have this body size or like this body type. Like she has to look a certain way, like that society kind of pushes for people to think a certain way. But I think it's kind of like if a man has this mindset that he's like she has to look like this and she can't look like anything else, I think it's like a shame because then he loses like opportunity because let's say like any attractiveness that you find in a girl, right? And let's say she's walking down the street, you make eye contact with her and you're like this is the perfect girl, this is the girl of my dreams. You speak to her
Mhm.
and she like can't hold a conversation. She's all about herself. She's looking at you like probably like all these negative factors and you're like, wow, like she looks beautiful, but is she really what I'm looking for in a wife? And so I think like it can be a shame because it's like I feel like I said, you guys have a certain perspective of like what you want, but then you'll realize you guys are gonna miss like 1,000,010 opportunities for the right girl because she doesn't have like a certain kind of hairstyle or a certain body size or a certain outfit you're looking for in somebody. But yeah, and I
Mm.
don't know. So kind of jumping into that, like I always tell like every close man in my life, like my cousins, my brother, like I always say like when you're looking for a wife or like a girl that's meant to be like wife material, I'm like attractiveness, of course, you have to be attracted to somebody to be into them. If you're not, it's not going to work. And everyone has a type, everyone has a preference. We're all not going to be attracted to each other. You know what I mean? There's 7 billion people in the world for that. But going into that, I say like study her heart, study her mind, and study like how she handles situations because her heart is exactly the way your kids are going to love. The way she thinks is the exact way your kids are going to think. And the way she handles situations, like does she freak out and cuss at people and make scenes or is she a problem solver and she sits down and she really thinks about the problem? Like you want somebody because the way that you want them to be like your kids because she's going to take care of your kids. So however your kids are going to turn out is basically how your wife is. So you got to keep that in mind for the future. I always say that because nobody ever thinks about that. I'm like, guys, like she's just hot, cool, but like she's going to be the mother of your kids. Like let's keep this like in perspective.
That's such a good point that you bring up. I mean, many good points that you brought up. First of all, is that that's going to be the mother of your children, and so you really want to make
Right.
sure that her morals align with yours and her values also
Yeah.
align, because it's not
Yeah.
about the looks at that point, because looks don't
Mm-mm.
last forever, right? And you are
They only go a certain
they
way.
only go a certain way, and you also touched on that sometimes guys tunnel vision too much on looks and they ignore all the
Mm-hmm.
other important parts to actually make up a good family, like what you're actually destined to create. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so to touch more on that, I think one way around that is to understand that looks can change. Like you can get into the
Mm-hmm.
gym and look a lot better. So it's not a
Mm-hmm.
static thing. But sometimes
Right.
personality could be static. It depends on who you're talking to. Like you want to
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that I look also to find out is how malleable is the person's mind that I'm talking to. Like are they open to change? Like cuz a lot
Right.
of people have ideas
Mm-hmm.
and I'm of the opposite belief. or I said it wrong. I think ideas have people for the most part, but I like to think that I
Mhm.
have ideas so that I can change the ideas that I think about instead of the ideas possessing who I am and me being fixed to it.
Right.
So, man, another great point also that you brought up is about this longevity, right? The time that you have
Yeah.
with people and that she's going to be the mother of your kids. So, man, like how do you what are some of the things that you think you could screen for that? Like what's a good screening to find, the mother of your kids?
I mean, like when you have a conversation with somebody, like when you're getting to know her, like I think I would start off by saying like what do you do for work? Like what are your goals in the next couple of years? Like what's your religion? Like how strong is your faith like in your religion? Like kind of just like understanding like who she is as a person. Like I don't think it could be like a 5 minute conversation. Like I think sometimes even on the girl side, I think sometimes we're very quick to jump. Not everybody, you can't blame a whole group, but I think like once you really like get close to somebody and you see how they are like with their lifestyle, if they're family oriented, like do they go to church, do they not, like do they follow in their faith, do they not? So I think just being close to them and seeing how they are and just seeing how they just view life and how they handle life, like that'll help you figure it out. It can't be like a 5 minute conversation at a convention for 3 days. That's not gonna work.
I
Like,
know
you know what I
it's
mean?
100%
Yeah.
true, but in that a lot of the times it's like a really quick interaction and it's like, "Oh, I love this girl," or "Oh, I think this guy is like
Right.
perfect for me." But it's like,
Right.
really, do you know that person?
Yeah, you go home and then that conversation falls off, or like somebody gets bothered by what that individual is doing when they get home. Like you have no idea. So it's like it's not something you can just really jump in. I mean,
Yeah, you got to figure out how to spend quality time. And I think specifically with these conventions, most of it is going to be long distance, right? If you're meeting someone that you've never met before, likely they're out of state, let's say. Um,
hmm,
so it's like, how do you maintain that conversation over the phone? It's different. I'm
yeah,
personally, I'm more of an in-person kind of guy. I like to interact in
hmm,
person, but like, how do you maintain that level of energy or that level of conversation over the phone and stuff? I think you just have to put a lot more effort into it. You just really got to think like, if you're gonna try to make it work, you got to like really study it, put effort,
right.
and try to ask good questions. Have some thought before.
Yeah, like I think if two people do long distance, like you both have to be equally dedicated. It can't be like 90-10. It can't be 60-40. You guys could get busy, like it's like somebody could be busy with work or school or something, but it's about balance and maintaining time and priority and like seeing like what you really want from that person. So I think if you're both on the same page and you both are trying to achieve the same outcome of getting married one day and living together, then yeah, like long distance is something you just have to like dedicate to, and it's really not that hard. Like that long distance, I feel like some people have this giant fear where it's like there's no trust, or it's like, oh, what if the person's not good at communication? Like those are factors you want to just pay attention to in general. So if that's not something that they're even capable of, like through the phone, then how are you gonna go walk down the aisle and marry that person? You know what I mean?
It's very true, but there are some inherent issues with long distance. It's like you don't get to see how that person moves, if that makes sense. You only get an image of that person through a phone conversation or FaceTime, but it's a fixed amount of time. You don't have the luxury of
Yeah.
spending all day with the person where you get to learn things like, okay, how do they talk to the waitress? Right? How do they talk to the
Okay.
waitress?
Okay, wait. So are you never gonna visit that person if you're a long
No,
distance with
you
them?
definitely are. No, but if
Yeah.
you're talking over a couple of months before you visit in person, just
Hmm.
to like get to know the person, like that's gonna be
Yeah.
challenging. That part's gonna be challenging. So you
Oh
might
yeah.
get stuck. You might get.
Maybe for sure.
So what would you say? What are some of the things that you know? I guess you would be able to do, like to avoid that.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I think if you're like long distance and you guys never visited each other yet, and you take that leap and you're like, I'm gonna come for a weekend. Like I think it's just a risk. But I think anything you do is a risk. So it's kind of like if it doesn't work, you can at least say, hey, I tried. But like if it does work, then it's like okay. But some people I know are 100%, they're like, if this person's out of state, I do not want it.
Yeah.
I know some people that are like, like I'm willing to try anything, like this is okay if this person's meant to be mine, like sure. So I think it's just more on like if you're willing to take that jump, and if you're not, that's totally okay too. It's really all in personal perspective.
So you're favoring more of like just take the like you have to know.
Yeah, life is full of risks. I'm like, just take the risk. Because like, what's the worst that can happen is that you guys never talk to each other again. Okay, there's a whole other world of people. I think I'd be fine.
I mean, you kind of get it over with a little bit sooner, right? Instead of waiting around.
Yeah, instead of wasting
That's
time,
true.
like at least you both know.
That's some good
Yeah,
advice.
not that bad.
Just get it over with. Guys,
you.
book your tickets. Come on.
Rip off the band-aid. Just let it roll. It's fine.
So that's good advice, actually.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Do you want to like steer? We talked about
Sure.
distance.
Mm-hmm.
What you have anything you want to add there?
Yes. Okay, so I don't know why. This is like, I feel like this is such a kind of topic that people debate on, but how do you feel if you were dating a girl? How do you feel if she had guy friends?
Oh, good question. Okay, that's a great question. So how long have these friends been around? Is it just brand new friends? How often, like, do you have a lot of guy friends? Like, are you kind of known? Like, you kind of like have hundreds of guy friends? Or you have a couple of guy friends that you've been talking to for a while, you've met, maybe from high school or whatever. You've just had a relationship with them over time. You never did anything with them. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think any guy would be okay with that. I think a lot of the fear guys have would be that because we know how guys move, right? Guys know how guys move. And for the most part, even if you're friends, like they're thinking, oh, there's this slight chance, when she's not dating that person, I'm going to make my move there. So we're always like we're trying to be risk averse and not try to like have problems. But I would never take it as far and say like, don't have guy friends. Like you should have guy friends, but there should be good boundaries set in place. That's the only thing I would say. And we could talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah, you totally like hit the nail on whatever that phrase is.
Hit the
like,
nail on
you
the
got
head?
it. Yeah, on the head or something. No, for sure. Because my thing on that is like, I think that falls into the factor of like communication. I think it's like, it depends on what the intention is, right? And you said guys can read guys, like girls can read girls. Like a girl can immediately walk into the room, and let's say like she walks up to you and she like, obviously we're just friends, but let's say she walks up to you, like I can immediately tell what's her intention, what she's trying to do, because I'm a girl. Like I can, like how you can read. Yeah,
That's like
every girl can.
that's like Sonic Vision.
Every girl can.
I don't know.
Yeah, basically. But my thing is, it's just like, if there's communication, it's like if these friends have been friends for a long time, like if you guys grew up together, like what's the history behind it? As long as if it was just platonically friends and there's loyalty, boundaries, like your significant other is always going to come first. Like your friend, your boy, like if I'm dating somebody, like my friend is not going to come before the guy. Like that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, and the goal is to like, so when they get married, like I want our kids to be friends. Like I don't want it to be like if some people have bad intention, like if someone met like a friend a month ago, like why are you making like a good friend with a guy a month ago if you're dating somebody, and vice versa with gender. I'm not going to blame one side. That's not fair. But yeah, it just depends on the intention. Because like I personally have 3 guy best friends, and these guys are it's actually so funny because I think to some people 3 could be a lot, but anytime I've ever spoken to a guy about it and I like explained the entire thing, he's never had a problem. I don't think I've ever come across yet, thank God, a guy who has a problem with them, because it's just the friendship, the history, everything. I explain everything, and I want them to be friends. Like they have to be friends. If they're not, then like obviously something's got to change.
That's good.
Like,
that's really good, because see that's a good point, because if you try to keep the boyfriend and the guy friend separate, that speaks to the guy, that speaks to the boyfriend, and that's communicating something like why.
That's weird.
Right.
Like, why are you hiding that? Like, you're not supposed to, if you're in a relationship, like, why are you hiding things? Like, just be straightforward, be transparent in what you're doing.
100%. And you also brought up those boundaries, which I completely agree with. If there has been a history, though, like you've made out once, or you've done something once, right? And you're just friends, That's a
Hmm.
boundary, possibly. I don't know. I
Gone.
don't know if I'd be comfortable with that
No.
because I know what that guy is thinking.
No,
He's like,
if they were like, no, no way, I will literally walk out immediately. We're not allowing that to happen. No. If they did something or like I'm not like that, but so I'm gonna say like him. If he did something with a girl, I do not want her in his life after that. There is no reason.
yeah,
Like at that point, yalla bye. Like get her out of
100%
here.
agree because the temptation is always
Yeah.
there.
Right.
And
But
why?
if he has respect for me, then he would take her out. Like
100%.
there's no point for
Yeah,
that.
I completely agree. It
Yeah.
goes both ways.
1000%.
It does.
But I do have another question for
Keep
you.
it up. Keep it going.
S-
Let's go.
So what is your five like what's the word? What are five immediate things you need in a girl for it to be like this is the perfect girl for me? Like the five check marks that she has to have in order for you to even like see potential in her. And do not say appearance. Like it cannot be like look wise.
That's number one, though.
Okay, no, let's go in depth. Like what are five characteristics?
Okay, what?
The thumbs up just I
So,
was like, what is this?
we're on FaceTime right now.
The five
and,
characteristics.
Yeah, okay. So 5 characteristics. So other than looks, so she already passed the
Like,
attractiveness.
Yeah, do you want me to like go first?
Yeah.
Like to give you an idea of what I'm
Yeah,
referring
go
to?
ahead. Go ahead. Sure.
Okay, so first of all, he needs like this is an example. Like he needs to have Christ in his heart. If he does not have Christ in his heart, he will never get to my heart. Because if it is not sent by Christ, I do not want it. Therefore, if he does not follow Christ, Christ did not send him to me. And I don't want anything in my life that's not sent to me by Christ.
That's amen.
Like,
Amen. That's good.
Another thing is he has to be motivated. Like, cause here's the thing. Like, some girls will say, "I want a rich man." Like a rich man will buy me things. Some girls will say, "You know what? I want a poor guy that treats me solid. Like that he's respectful. As long as he's stable, has some money, that's fine." I want a motivated man. Cause a motivated man, he can be rich one day, poor the next day. But wherever he wants us to be with our family, he'll provide. He'll get us to that point. If he wants us to be rich, he'll get us rich. If he wants us to be at a certain point, he's gonna get us to a certain point. I think men are wired in a way where it's like if they want something, whether it's a person, like a job, like money, something, that you guys are literally built-in providers, you will get your wife and her family there and the family there.
Facts.
I honestly think like I just want a motivated man. A motivated man will get us where we need to be. That's two. He needs to be loyal. 1000%. Like he can't be like, and vice versa. Like anything I'm saying that he needs, I'm throwing on the table too. I'll never request something that I know I can't provide myself. That's not how that works. Well, to an extent, you know what I mean. But he needs to be like loyal. Like like we both need to make sure like we're not insecure of each other. Like he can, talk to me about things. Like we're not gonna. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm not going to worry about him walking out the door, and he's not going to worry about me walking out. I'm not going to wake up being like, is my husband going to cheat on me? Or is my boyfriend going to cheat on me?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about that, you have a lot more problems than.
No, exactly. But he needs high communication skills because, like, times are going to get tough. There's no such thing as, like, a fairy tale life. Like, we're going to go up, we're going to go down. Like, things are going to get hard. But I think it's not me versus him. It's going to be us versus the problem. Like, why are we fighting? Like, let's get to the root of it. We might get irritated because human beings, like, if you don't fight with somebody, that's not normal. Like, you have to bicker once in a while. But I want to get to the root of it. I don't want to, like, fight all the time. So if we have high communication, I honestly think we'll go really far. And then, was that 4?
That was 4.
I think that was 4,
Yeah.
right? And then he has to have a sense of humor. Like, I need someone funny. I can't deal with, like...
You don't like
I don't know.
robots?
He just has to be fun. Oh,
You don't like
God.
robotic guys?
No.
Hello, how are you? Good morning. Have a safe flight.
If I wanted AI, bro, I can go buy it. Okay, I don't need that in a minute.
Yeah, man, ChatGPT is $20 a month. Guys, $20 a month you could get replaced. Think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm worrying.
Wait, I'm gonna... Oh. No, yeah, you should be worried at that point.
Look, those are really excellent points. Holy. You started with God. That's a
Yeah.
big one. So I'm a little bit more flexible there. So for me, I want a girl who ideally follows Christ, but sometimes in our modern era, a lot of people our generation don't follow because of ignorance, I think, or they
Mm-hmm.
don't have the right understanding, or they haven't been exposed to it in a way that makes people want to follow. So I'll be a little bit lenient there. Maybe as long as they're open to it, they will be open to that experience. And as long as I see that their morality kind of already aligns with the followings of, Christianity, let's say, then I think that's a good
Mm-hmm.
start. It's not going to be like an absolute no for me, but it's a big one, but it's not like definitely a no. Now,
Yeah.
the second thing is allowing me to do what I do best. You have to have faith in me, faith and trust. Now I'm going to do what I can
Mm-hmm.
to provide for the family. That's a huge thing for me because as you know, the market changes all the time. A lot of things change. There's hardships everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and life is full of mishaps and suffering, and there's a lot of things, a lot of challenges. So
Mm-hmm.
having faith in your partner and being able to work through problems, like you elucidated to before, about let's not fight each other. Let's actually work on the problem together. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to fight with my wife. I'm not trying to win an argument with my wife because I don't want to live with a defeated woman.
You couldn't have said it any better than that, to be so honest with you right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like if you think about it, like if my goal, right, as a guy, if my goal was I want to win every argument against my wife, what is that? What are you doing? Why is that a good goal? Because
At that point, why are you
why are
together?
you together? Why is that even a good thing? But this is the thing. Like no one thinks like that because they think short term. They think about, oh, this is the argument. I'm right. This is all that matters. Look, they might be right.
Mm-hmm.
They might be right 99% of the time. But the fact that you
Mm-hmm.
argue every single time and she feels defeated after, guess what? You live with a defeated woman and vice versa. God, if it was the other way around and that's the leader and he's feels defeated, he's done. I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, he's not going to be able to provide at that point. He's not. Or he's going to
It's
provide.
not a flex.
Yeah, it's on flex. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just need to work together. So what was that? That was 2 points.
Dude, we're on fire right now with that.
I'm trying to think. I mean, what else? Like, I want a good moral. I want a girl that has really good morals. Like, I want a girl to also teach me when I'm doing something wrong. Like, I don't want to. I'm not a
Right.
perfect book. I'm gonna mess up so many ways, but I want you to
Mm-hmm.
find those things and help me be better. Point them out
Right.
and help me get there. Bring me up with you because
Mm-hmm.
I want to do the same for my girl. When I see her looking down, right, and she can be better, then I want to make sure it's known to help her because I want to elevate with my girl. So it's like,
That's awesome.
yeah, um, thank you. I'm just trying to I can't think of anything more.
If you can't get past, like, if you like can't find more, that's okay.
Your
That's
questions
totally
are
fine.
too good. They're too powerful for me.
Okay, well, let's flip the table. Do you have any more questions for me?
Yeah, so like what do you think about having how do you solve issues like kids? Like number of kids, let's say. Let's give a simple one. Simple one. Let's say you
Yeah,
have
so simple.
let's say you have an idea of you want this number of kids and your partner doesn't agree. How do you obviously they check a lot of other boxes and you want to make it work. How do you navigate that?
Well, luckily, I'm nowhere near in that position yet, so
No,
thank God. I guess I can honestly say. Um, I think when it comes to that, I would sit down with them and I'd say, okay, obviously, how many do you want? And let's say we have different numbers. I'd basically be like, okay, like, why do you feel the need that we have to have these many kids? Like, give me like solid reasons. And I just know he's gonna ask me the same question. He's gonna say, like, why do you think we have the feel to have these kids? So I think like we'll start at a common ground where it's like, okay, we obviously both want up to this number till one of us switches it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we're like, how about we get to this number and then see how we feel, and then once we cross that bridge, we will. Because people jump back and forth a lot with kids. Like sometimes people are like, I want 5 kids. they get past two and they're like, you know what, this is way too much work. Or they say, I want one kid. Then they have one like, you know what, like we want like another one. Like maybe we miss that feeling of having another kid. Like so they can, I don't know, grow up together and stuff.
So you would kind of play it by
So
ear a little bit.
a little bit, yeah. I mean, I'd find a common number, of course, first. So like obviously where both of our needs are met, but yeah, then play by ear.
I mean,
Not perfect. I'm definitely gonna like screw it up a little bit, maybe.
if it's like 4 or 5, you're like, okay, 2 minimum. We'll
No.
play it by ear.
Yeah.
For the rest,
Right. No, if it's like 4 or 5, I'm like, I'm not actually gonna walk out. I'll be like, I gotta go to the grocery store.
sorry guys, gotta go get milk.
Right.
Buy the milk.
You're right.
Okay, man. I had so much more questions before, and now that we went into certain directions, I can't trace back to those questions I originally had. Did you have?
It's okay. I have another. Yeah, actually, I have another. I don't know why I came in here with no questions, no expectations, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I kind of have a lot of thoughts towards this now.
All right, Jordyn, to kick it off.
What do you think about like modern day dating? I guess you could say.
Ooh, I think it's shallow. I think it's shallow, in the fact that I think some guys are just looking for one thing and one thing only. And
Right.
they're not thinking about it long term. And I think girls are kind of in the same category with that they're looking for one thing. Like, oh, I feel like a lot of, okay, I'll take it in two directions. Guys are looking for sex for the most part,
Okay.
from what I'm seeing. And girls are looking for like friends with benefits, but without the sex part. That's what I see from just my observatory tower. I'm just looking with binoculars. That's what I
Oh my
see.
God.
I think with all these apps, they're corrupting the way we talk to each other. Like it's becoming way too casual for things like this. I don't think any of these things should be casual. I say that very seriously. Like, I don't like that everything is so sexualized today. It bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me. 'Cause
Yeah.
all I can think about is my kids looking at that and like what it does to their brain. Like, what is that doing?
Right.
And it bothers me, like, as someone who's not a parent, but who wants to be a parent. And so modern day dating is, I think it's just very shallow in general. I think the old traditional way of dating where you like try to court a girl is appropriate. It's good because it puts yourself out there. It makes you accountable to the family that you're trying, they know that you're trying to go for the girl, so they have some sort of idea. Now, don't get me wrong, like I don't like it 100%. Like there's some drawbacks with
Right.
it too, but the way that the modern dating, the direction it's taken, I think we need to go back a little bit to our roots a little bit and try to pull some of those things. Yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. What do you think
No,
about it?
I honestly agree with you. Like I think these days, like modern dating is so overly sexualized. I think sometimes it's like, I mean, just from what I've seen, like it's so hard for two people to just have a normal conversation because you can tell immediately in the conversation what they want. Like it could be like, "How's your day?" And then they'll be like, "Oh, like you look so like beautiful," and like ABCD. I'm like, "Okay, that's great. I didn't ask what you thought of me. I asked how was your day." Like I think sometimes it just gets uncomfortable and you're like, "Why are you over complimenting me like when I'm telling you about like something that happened to me or I'm trying to teach you something about myself? Like why are you're not acknowledging that, but you're acknowledging like to like flirt with each other when you see no potential of a future with me or like anything like that." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? You know what about those free compliments? I call them free compliments. They're they're one dimensional. As soon as you say it, they are not acknowledged by the other person, and they mean absolutely nothing.
It doesn't, yeah. And it's like in my head, I'm like, so how many people did you send that message to just now?
Literally,
Am I like girl number
100.
7, girl number 11? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, yeah, especially if you're getting them back to back. Like you were saying, you're asking a question, and then they
Yeah.
don't answer the question, but they're like, oh man, just to like get bonus points. They're trying to look for bonus points. Oh yeah, so your eyes are
Yeah.
really beautiful. Hey, you got really nice eyes. I asked you about your mom, bro. Like what the what is this?
No, literally. Or like, have you seen those TikToks or like those Instagram posts where it's like, because I'm gonna flip the tables now because obviously like I'm kind of aiming more towards at the guys. Like I gotta be fair and like play back a little bit. I've seen posts on social media where it's like when you flirt a little too hard and he gets attached or he thinks you guys are something and it's like a meme of someone like like oh no, like I basically let the like I was having fun with this guy to lead him on. I didn't want an outcome with him, but he thought that we were gonna have a relationship. I'm like, how is that a good thing to post or talk about? Like, this guy thought you guys were gonna be like, I can't relate to those posts. I can't that post specifically, and I'm not a pick me. Okay, I have my own flaws. I have my own thing. I'm not this angel sent from heaven above. Trust me. But time is so important to me. Like, I hate when people waste my time, and I ain't trying to waste anybody else's time. I hate that. You know.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, you said it really well. Like, the man,
I have to be fair. Like I can't just be like, oh, the guys, and I'm not just gonna sit here and bash the girls. Like I am a girl, so why would I like bash my own? Like I just gotta be a little fair.
yeah,
Like
you
like
gotta keep
both sides are dirty. Like they're both messy.
you gotta keep it 1,000.
Yeah, for real. There's no
No,
way. And then, like obviously we're not perfect,
no,
so
I'm not. Don't. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely not. So with regards to that, I think yeah, a lot of social media, like you'll see, oh, there's this maybe we'll put this up. There's this recently, there's this girl that went on a date with a guy. I think it was a Tinder date. It was their first date, and he chose to go to Cheesecake Factory as a first date. And
I think I saw
and
this.
she got so pissed that
Yeah.
dressed this good, and that he took her to
Yeah.
Cheesecake Factory. And the guy's a fucking millionaire, right?
Yeah.
He's just average guy, average Joe, taking her to Cheesecake
Mhm.
Factory. That's a decent bill for him. It ain't bad.
Yeah.
He's gonna pay for everything, but because it was Cheesecake Factory, it wasn't like a high end restaurant. She refused to go on the date with the guy. What do you think?
Mhm. I think okay. I actually think I saw that video and she was recording it trying to get like people on TikTok to side with her and they're all like, "What is wrong with you?" I don't like that because first of all, if it's a first date, you don't know each other yet. You just know his name, his height, probably what he does for a living, vice versa. So I think the first date is like a chance for you guys to talk. I don't think that's rewarding of like, oh, let me take her to like a steakhouse. Like, if anything, I think it should be something chill like coffee or like just a chill restaurant or just something just like vibey where you guys can get to know each other. And then once you realize like if you guys are like willing to keep going, then we can like do all these things together. But like, why am I gonna jump for like why would any of us jump for a stranger? Like we don't know them yet. So what like she's so and this guy was such a good guy too. I remember that. He was like, like I had this planned for you. And he said it, he was like, I was actually gonna take you to a nice restaurant. So bonus points for this dude. And then he was like, but you were an hour late getting ready.
Yes, yes.
And he was like, you were an hour late, and then she didn't want the restaurant, whatever. She ruined the actual original plan. That's why he took her to Chili's.
Yeah, it's listen.
It's insane. I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
These girls. No, okay. I'm gonna shut on the guy and the girls. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Start it
first on
back
the
a little
girls.
bit, bro.
First on the girls, because these girls want the
Okay.
end product. They want a complete perfect date on off rip. There's no effort. No, the guy didn't get anything. Nothing. Right. And once you watch the video a little bit more, she is everything wrong with that relationship. Everything, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know what compelled her to put that on the internet, but that was an L. She took an L as soon as she hit upload. The
That was
algorithm gave her an
Delulu.
L. Like,
Literally, that was straight Delulu, and that will not come Trululu. Okay, I'm like telling you right now. Have you heard that
I
before?
never heard the Trululu part.
The girls say a phrase. I actually stand by this phrase, so I can't even like pretend like I don't. But it's be Delulu till it comes Trululu.
Okay.
But this Delulu's not gonna come Trululu. There's no way.
So you're basic. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that after.
Oh
I think
my
that's
God.
okay. But and to shit on the guy, don't put all your eggs in one basket in the beginning like that. That is
No.
too that you can't do that because you're too nice like that. You're gonna get taken advantage of. That's the truth. Because
Right.
that guy was way too nice. Like, honest to God, I'm just gonna say it. I would have took her home right away. As soon as she did that, as soon as
Hmm.
she declined, we're on our way back. And if you're not getting in the car, you can take Uber. I'm done. You're out. Peace. Gone.
Hold
Done.
on, hold on. I have one bad thing to say about the guy.
Oh, go go.
if I'm correct, if I'm correct, okay, because I've seen a couple of these videos, so I just hope this is the same one. I think if I'm correct, and if I'm wrong, then just whatever. The guy left her somewhere. I think he said you can figure out your way home, and he dropped her off
I think that was a
somewhere.
different
Unless
video.
I'm
Different
totally.
video.
Was that a
Yeah.
different video?
This was
Oh,
this wasn't Chili's. This was a Cheesecake
you know
Factory.
what I'm talking about?
I don't know about this one. We
Okay.
gotta we'll look at a clip after.
We'll look at a clip. But okay, so if I'm just gonna be sure for that. If the guy takes her home, that's fair. But to any of that version of those videos where the guy's like, "I'm leaving you on the side of the road, figure
Oh,
out your own ride," dude. Because at that point, it's like, hear me out. Like, let's say they're dating, and let's say they know each other for months, and she pissed him off, and he's like, you know what? Like, find your way home. If a guy left me on the side of the road, you know how bad that for a girl, you know how unsafe that would be.
it's crazy.
At that point, it's like he has no respect. Like, I get it, he had respect in the beginning. He let his emotions get the best, and I don't blame him. He let his emotions get the best of him. If you leave me, here's the thing. It's funny because if I ever like would ever go out, probably I have so many connections in any of the area I'm gonna be in, so I know like if I was stranded, I won't be stranded. But not everybody has that luxury. Okay, so do not make me figure out my ride home.
As a guy, don't ever leave a girl under any circumstances. But if she refuses to get in the
No.
car, that's she takes the L. Look, you can't get it both ways, right?
If she refuses to get in the car, you drive side by side while she walks, and you wait till she gets home.
Really?
Yes.
I'll take the L for that. I ain't doing that. No.
Yeah, you definitely should. You definitely should take the L for that.
Well, it depends. I mean, if it's at night, yeah. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't. Hopefully, you're not in a situation like that. But like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that's. Yeah. Don't listen, guys. Don't do that. Don't be a jerk.
Boys, don't leave your girl on the side of the road. Girls, don't ask for stuff when you don't even know the guy. Okay, let's just break it down that easily. Both of you stop being Delulu.
Yeah, stop being
I think
Delulu.
logically.
And sometimes when you're thinking very Delulu like that, it will never become Trelulu. Okay, I'll tell you right now. It ain't gonna be true.
He did it, ladies and gentlemen. He got it. He said the famous quote. He said Trelulu. I'm sorry. I'm so proud of that moment.
We
That
did
part needs to be clipped along.
We did it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I keep getting notifications. I keep blocking my FaceTime. Stop doing this.
I do not disturb.
You're more advanced than me. You're like a type 3 civilization.
It's the
I'm
marketing.
at type 1. Trying to figure this
the
out. What
marketing
is
in me.
this? Okay. I think I'm good. So, Jordyn, what experiences have you had where, you just want to like make the record straight? You want to help the opposite gender do better and maybe help your fellow ladies do a bit better. What is some experience you want to shed to help, give reason to why you think this way?
I think don't settle. Hear me out. Like, I think when you're sometimes, and I'm not saying all the time, but I'm just saying, like, if you ever meet somebody and you guys are together and then they're doing A, B, and C for you, and you're like, you know what, this is great. But then, like, like, if you guys break up and you take a look at the bigger picture, you go, like, you know what, like, even though they provided A, B, C, like, I feel like I needed D, E, F better, like, than A, B, C. Like, other reasonings of being together. And I think sometimes people hang on to things because they think this is the best relationship for me, so don't realize what they actually need for themselves. Like, if they need someone who's better with communication, or if they're looking for someone who can do certain things for them that they feel like their partner doesn't do, but they just accept because they think that that's all there is, when that's not true, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
so you mentioned ABC is checked, but DEF isn't quite there. What are some
Right.
things that are DEF?
Okay. I just don't want to like. Okay, I got this. I got this. Just out of respect to like anybody in my past, because I don't want to like hate on anybody. But I will say like I won't even say if this was like a relationship situation. I won't even go into any detail of that. But there was an individual, and I feel like that person like would treat me well, but I feel like we could have had better communication. Like there was no communication, and every time like I feel like I tried to, like it wasn't working. But I was going with it, and I there was no way I was perfect. Like I could have done so many things better myself. So I'm not like bashing on this individual or whatever time period of my life it was, but where I am now in my life, I'm like I need someone with good communication. Like he needs to like about like if we're either having a bad day or if there's something that I feel like he's lacking where it's like more like attention or more like time, quality time or something, like just anything like that. Like if there's just something where I'm like I need this, like I feel like I just like talking, and I think if someone can't talk to me and I can't express how I feel and I lock it up, like I'm gonna be miserable and that person's gonna probably be miserable too.
Mm.
It's like a two-way streak. So like yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, communication's a big one. If you can't communicate that properly
Right.
with your person, I mean, how are you going to advance A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L? Right. You're not going to be
Right.
able to because
Yeah.
communication's the fundamental attribute for that. But
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, like, if it's like, as long as I would agree with you too. By the way, don't settle on things that aren't if they aren't improving at all or declining, then I agree.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if they are improving, but not at the pace that you might say, if you have the mentality of always thinking like I could always do better,
Mm-hmm.
you might run into a situation because um this is unfortunately this is true. This is the case. Sucks that this
Mm-hmm.
is it. But girls have a biological clock, but men have a
Right.
financial clock. My boy
Mm-hmm.
Shane said this on the Puka Circle podcast, so shout out to him. But yeah, that's very
Yeah.
true. I think that's very true. And so if you're always, if you're not able to settle, you might run out of options because it takes years to develop relationships.
Yeah, okay, you know what? Like you're totally right. And bouncing off of that, I do have an example of that, but with like my one of my really good friends. Like, but it's like it's literally exactly what we're referring to. Like, it's like one of my good friends. We're gonna call my friend S, and my friend S is ride or die. Okay, and S is a guy. So this is gonna make sense of why I'm explaining this. So S we'll talk about things all the time, but then like sometimes I feel like at one point I was like I feel like you're not like being straight up about something that I was asking or whatever. Like it was just like about a story that they were trying to tell me. And when I say like I feel like you're not communicating this properly to me, S literally said, and this opened my eyes. So that's something that's so true. Like if the person is trying, is there S was like, look, if I'm communicating this to you, this is my 100%. They're like, this is like, that's the most how I can go, but this is me like trying to explain something. And I'm like, that's all I needed to hear. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think it's like, but if someone's like in denial or if someone doesn't want to change, if someone's trying to change, or if they're like, this is how I am, this is how I function, I think that's a whole different ballpark than someone just like,
they never
when I
acknowledge
say
it.
like, don't settle. Yeah, so I'm saying like, don't settle for somebody who's like not willing to like be like, hey, this is my 100%. You know what I mean? In their own way. S is my friend though, but it was a good example to kind of be
Yeah,
like, we can piggyback off that.
yeah, yeah. Like I mean, yeah, I mean that shows his own limitations. Like I mean, he's saying like, look, this is what
Yeah.
I could do, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, he's communicating that. So you got to give it to him.
Right.
There,
Yeah, 1,000%. Because I'm like I yap, like I talk a lot, and so like when S wasn't like communicating something, I was like, why are you doing that? Like, and we've been friends for years. I'm like, why are you being like this? And S was like, this is my 100%. Like this is all I can
this is as
give
high
you.
as
So I
I
was
could
like, you know
go.
what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're right. And but once they like explained that, it just made so much more sense after that. And I was like, okay, that's just how they function. And then after that happened, like any of my friends that are girls and guys or just anything, like my I got a higher perspective because of that one conversation.
No, you're like, oh, this is this is a possibility. I never thought about this before
Yeah.
because it never happened.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry I keep resulting back to communication. I just think it's just like such a heavy factor that people don't really talk about. It's not just like, Anthony, how are you feeling today? Like it's like also like it makes or breaks a lot of factors, and it helps people break down barriers and really understand you in a different level.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you say that because everyone says communication, but what does that mean? It is the fundamental attribute of a relationship. So,
Yeah.
but it goes in so many different directions. And if one direction isn't good, you're going to feel it. Meaning,
Right.
you have nonverbal communication, you have verbal communication, you have body language, I guess is nonverbal, but
Mm-hmm.
like you have different forms of communication. You have the absence of
Mm-hmm.
communication in certain areas. That is a factor too. Or you have over communication about something where it's like, okay, you're annoying me now. Like you're saying this too much.
Right.
Like relax. Like so
Yeah.
it's everything. And one dimension of communication could be off putting and that's a communication problem nonetheless. It doesn't communication doesn't mean I need to explain everything to you. It means that I
Yes.
need to explain what I need to explain in all these dimensions at an appropriate level that at least you're satisfied with.
Getting the point across.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Because if I explain to you like here's a good example actually. Me and you are talking and and you're asking me like how are you doing? And I'm like I'm great. I'm doing just fantastic, but my body language is like that like this.
Yeah.
I'm saying two
Mm-hmm.
different things right there. So
Right.
you're not gonna really flow with that.
Mm-hmm.
You might take pause to that. It's the same thing though. So yes, we're gonna talk about communication a lot, but like what? What type of communication is lacking there?
I have something to piggyback off of that. Like negative forms of communication now.
Ooh.
So like yeah, so like let's say like two people in a relationship and then like someone starts cussing at the other one or like calling them names. Like how would you react to that?
Ooh, that's a absolute red flag. No, no, absolutely. You're done. Get out of here, kid. No.
1,000%.
Like, there's a thing. Like, it depends. Like, for the most part, you're disrespecting me like that. I don't know where that came from, but like, you got to check yourself right now, or there's like, you're crossing a big line. You're on thin ice at this point. Like,
Right.
where is that energy coming from? Especially if it's brand new. Like, where did that come from? Whoa, that's very
Mm-hmm.
off-putting. If it's a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
that's also very bad, right? Why are you taking this
Mm-hmm.
abuse? Especially if you
Mm-hmm.
communicated that you don't like it. Let's assume that, right? Let's assume you communicated
Right.
that you don't like it and it just keeps happening. Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But this is where it's okay. If that person just has a potty mouth, like me, I curse. I curse a lot, honestly. And it just
Mm-hmm.
comes out like that. If you're not cursing at the person and you're just cursing because you have a potty mouth, I think it's okay.
That's different.
Like
Yeah.
so I mean that's okay. If you're so that's the thing. It's like cursing at the person or cursing in your vocabulary.
Like to the person.
Yeah. Like I'm
Yeah.
cursing for emphasis or to be funny.
Right. Yeah.
That's a difference. Are you
Okay.
cursing at me? Wow, we got problems. No. we got,
Mine, okay, my answer is gonna be a little brutal. So, like, just fair warning of that.
okay,
I
Jordan.
could, okay, I'm scared. Okay, I could be dating somebody for 3 years. 3 years. And, like, if we fight, and, like, let's say we both have potty mouths, and we say, like, what the blank, or, like, if we, like, cuss not at each other, but to each other, that's different. Like you said, I completely agree. But we can be dating for 3 years. If somebody, and this is vice versa, if somebody cusses at me and says, blank you, Jordyn, or they call me a blank, or they call me names, and they're literally saying actual cuss words at me, I will end it immediately. He's gone. Like, I will cut that relationship. Nice knowing you. That's fine that you speak that way, but you're not allowed to speak to me that way, and I will not tolerate it. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Because if he's going to speak to me that way now, and I'm allowing it, and I open that door, he's going to have that thought like, oh, I can say it again. And if I have kids, inshallah, one day, and he's cussing at me in front of my kids, or he's cussing at my kids, and they think that this is okay, I'm not tolerating that. I'm not raising Isbella, bro. Like, we're not dealing with any Isbella in the house. Like, garbage, for anyone who doesn't know what that means. If you're
Garbage.
going to talk like garbage, then you are garbage. Like, I don't want to hear it at that point.
Such a great point. I mean, you just touched on the fact that you don't want to open a bad door, right?
No,
So,
even if I'm like, even if a boy is a friend, sorry, I did not mean to
mm,
cut you off. I'm just so passionate about this. But even if I'm like friends with a guy and I see potential in him and he cusses at me, like there's a difference. Like if we're just friends, I don't care. Like we're obviously being funny. But if you like if I genuinely see potential in this guy and we're talking or something and he gets drunk or if he's sober and he cusses at me, I will immediately end that talking, whatever you want to call it. It's not happening.
let's say you're dating this guy for a couple years. He
Hmm.
slips up and cusses right at you. How much grace do you have? Zero.
I'll look at him and say, "Do you speak to your mom that way?
Uh,
Do you speak to your sister
Look,
that
there's
way? How about
repercussions.
your
You're
teta?
right. There's
How about your
repercussions, but is it
teta?"
over? Like,
Yeah.
no matter what, there's nothing you could do.
Honestly, Anthony, like,
It's tough. It's
yeah,
tough, right? No.
it might end up having to be that way because it's like, why did he feel the need to say that?
A lot of people make mistakes, Jordan.
Well, people can make mistakes. Like, I don't know, but like in general terms, I would end it. But if there was one time, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my works. I feel like I'm being a hypocrite. I totally just switched my answer. But like, it just depends. Like, I feel like you'll know in the situation like what was his intention out of it.
Yeah.
But like genuinely, like 99.999% of the time, clocked out. Like I'm done.
No, I respect that. I mean, I think it's a good thing because you're principled. You have a certain level of respect that you want to maintain. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Like, if this could happen, it's like, how does he feel about it after? Like, is he in total shock, regret? Like, and he's like, this can never happen again. Whatever. I might have
Yeah.
grace for that. It depends, right? If
Right.
they're just like, nah, I just felt like doing that. Like, I don't have any. There's no like regret or anything for it. Then it's like, okay, that's how
Hmm.
you're set in your ways.
Yeah, because in my way, it's like I literally will say like, "Do you talk to your mom that way? Do you talk to your sister?" And they'll get offended, like, "Oh, what? Like,
Well, you bring my
why
mom
do I
into
not
this,
deserve
huh?
that?" I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. Like, I'm in both categories too. So do I not deserve that level of respect that your mom and your sister deserve? Like, no, I'd never cuss at you. Like, my mom and dad raised me in a way where I would never like cuss at like my partner or anything like
Well, that's
that.
a good point you bring up. Like you've never opened that door, but they have opened the
I
door.
don't.
So that's another different thing, though. You're not. It's not like
Right.
a one way thing. You're saying I've never
No.
opened that door. Why did you open that
No,
door?
like
Yeah, yeah.
no, like if I'm not opening that door, like we're not opening that door. It can't be like I can be like, oh yeah, like me cussing at you and be like, oh yeah, we're fine.
You
Then
don't even have
he
it in
cusses
you
at me
to
and I'm
do
like,
that.
bye.
Yeah.
No,
So
no, I
it's even
don't.
it's out of the ballpark for you.
Yeah, no. I'm not like that. That's not okay.
That's good.
Even as like even with friends, like that's not okay. And like growing up, like if that happened, like no, immediate regret. Like that's not how life should
Yeah.
be.
I mean, it's hurtful to say the least.
Yeah, exactly.
Um. Damn. That was good.
I just have so many opinions about relationships. It's like really unhealthy by how much I have.
I mean, it's good. I mean, I think we all do. I feel like I just need to be asked. Man, I can't think right now. I'm
I mean, I threw so much at you. I feel like I just kind of went on a whirlwind of conversation with you about it.
no, you're good. This is normal conversations for me, but today is probably like. All right. Let's see. What else? Did you have anything else? Did you want to go in the same branch or like you want to like kind of pivot? We didn't.
I'll let you take the lead. I feel like I've been taking the lead a
Okay,
lot.
so um, I'll tell you. I want to talk about forgiveness in a relationship.
Okay.
I think I think people inevitably make mistakes. I think some
Mm-hmm.
mistakes are unforgivable though. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with that. I'll live with that.
Mm-hmm.
I also think though depending on you know, what kind of person you want to be with, what kind of person you are, if you're a person who makes mistakes and actually grows from it, I think that's something different than someone who makes mistakes and stays static. Um
Right.
my question in general is like how much when is it too much to forgive? Like, is there I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's certain situations that you probably don't want to forgive. Very
Right.
obvious. Um, but how much forgiveness do we allow forgive other people. I mean, because the way I think of it, because when we talk in a religious context,
Hmm.
forgiveness is the foundation of our religion and many religions. Maybe not, but maybe Christianity only that I know
Hmm.
of is that it's a foundation of it. So people make people sin, they do wrong,
Hmm.
and then they look to God for forgiveness. But it's not just asking God for forgiveness; it's making active changes within yourself to ensure something like that never happens again. So if God can forgive, can we forgive?
Yes. Was that like a literal question? Because I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
jumped
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah. It's a question.
Yeah, because like we are human beings, you know, like no one is perfect. I always keep referring back to myself because I just never want anybody to get confused on this. Like I am nowhere near perfect. So, yes, we are all going to make mistakes. And I do believe that like any relationship you're in, it's never going to be the same as the other one you were in. Like every person's different, every situationship, relationship, like they're all different. So like you're just learning. Like we're all basically just learning how to function with that person.
Mm.
And I think that's life. And I think certain things like if someone slips up, does something wrong, not there's certain things obviously like I'm not gonna tolerate. Like and I think any like I think some people obviously have like a certain list of a few things where it's like if this person does this, it's over. But in general speaking terms, like if someone genuinely was like they screwed up, they did something, like we got into a fight about something stupid, and they said, Jordyn, like I'm sorry. And obviously I'll say it back, but if they're actually genuinely sorry and it's not a mistake they're gonna constantly make 55 times, I'll forgive him and move on. And vice versa. But like if someone makes a mistake and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, Anthony, next week, oh, I'm so sorry, Anthony, it's the same mistake. And they never change. Like actions speak louder than words. If they're not going to change after the first 3 times, they're not going to change next month or next year.
100%. That, oh man, perfectly said. Actions speak louder than words. And it's that
Yeah.
you demean the word sorry when you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Then it just loses value. Like there's certain words where if like you keep repeating it, it's not going to mean anything. Like you say it constantly all the time.
That's actually fun. I've had this conversation with somebody about love, using the word love. And this is a real I never thought about this before. I feel like a lot of people today, in general, generally speaking, say "I love you" to their significant other. It's pretty normal.
Yeah.
It's we casually say it, and that's good and all, whatever. But there's another caveat to it. I think is really interesting. If we say it so casually, but it's the strongest form of a word to describe your connection to a person and how connected you are to it, are we
Mhm.
demeaning the word by saying it a little too casually sometimes? Should we reserve the right to not say I love you in most scenarios so that we don't demean the word?
Yes. To an extent, yes. Because it's funny because even some of my friends, like, these are, I'm referring to girls, by the way.
Damn,
Like, even like
girls.
with the
No.
girls, like,
No.
yeah, 'cause I'm not gonna be like, but like, even with the girls, like, some of them will be like, they don't say I love you all the time, or they're not like lovey dovey all the time. Like, you know how girls are. And then so, but I would be the one who's always saying it. And then one girl was like, I don't always say it to people because I don't want to lose the value in it. Because if you say it, like, I love hearing the words I love you. And I love, if I genuinely love that person, like, I'm going to say it. Like, I probably say it a lot. I'll say, hey, like, I love you. But I do agree that there could be a point in time where, like, if it's just said every part of the day and it's said 55,000 times a day, to some people, they absolutely adore it.
Mm.
But I think to some people, they'll be like, this is overkill. Like, I feel like it doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Yeah, because I never thought about it that way, which is why I'm like, oh, maybe there's a good point there. There's something to learn there. Because when you overuse a word like sorry, right? It loses
I
its
don't know. I thought that was funny.
it loses its gravitas. Like there's a certain
Right.
gravitas with these words. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I would love to say when I say sorry to someone, like it's
Mm-hmm.
powerful. I would
Yeah.
like to say I don't know if that's the case though. I'd have to interview people and ask them, "Hey,
Yeah.
does my sorry mean something to you?" I hope it does. But
Yeah.
that's something that you would want it to mean something because when you say it, you clearly want it to convey its meaning. But if we say I love you all the time, every
all
day,
the
is
time.
it so what are you gonna say after I love you? Is there anything? Wait, I like you.
Like if you replace the terms "I love you,"
Yeah, like what do you say better? Like there is no, I don't think there is anything. Unless
it's funny because I don't like I'm not like educated on this stuff at all, but I think just from my assumption, like instead of somebody constantly saying like "I love you," like maybe someone can say like "I'm thankful for you" or "I'm so like
ooh,
blessed for you" or "You're very special." Like to me, that's a little cringy. Let's not say that. You could just be like "I appreciate you" or "You mean a lot to me." Like just like different phrases, I guess. Or "You're extraordinary." I don't know, like something
you
cliche.
just made me think of something. Great words by the way. I think that is a beautiful thing. If a girl, by the way, back to relationships for a second. If a girl
Yeah.
says I appreciate you to a guy that is providing for that girl,
Mm-hmm.
that is like the ultimate dopamine rush to that guy's head. Like it's gonna
Let me take notes real quick.
that is
I
so good.
appreciate you. I'll send that to him after this. Don't
That
worry. So I'm just
that
kidding.
literally will like change that'll change the course of every conversation. Like you if
Yeah.
you start showing appreciation for what they do, it changes everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything changes because now it's like okay, I'm gonna literally drown in the Titanic for you now.
Mm-hmm. Oh my Lanta. I saw my
Like it's
Lanta.
literally like that. It sounds dramatic, but it's so true. Like if I feel like if guys heard a little bit more appreciation for the actions they take, especially if they take good actions for their girl, man, it goes a long
Right.
way.
Yeah, for sure. And I even just like not even just with significant others, but I always love somehow like randomly texting like somebody who is very close to me, like one of my good friends or like a family member or something, or even a partner. Like I love like just being like random and being like I appreciate you so much or I'm so thankful for you. You popped into my head. I just wanted you to know like how much I care about you. Like I love the times when you don't expect it. I think it hits 10 times harder when you're not even thinking about it or asking for it from somebody, you know?
Even better. It has to if it's out of the blue, like there
Yeah.
is no reason for you to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Butterflies.
Taking notes. Take notes. This is what the girl has to
Oh
do.
my god, that is the best thing. Yeah, that's the best thing you could do. Show
Yeah.
appreciation and saying it. Telling you, it's gonna change his life. It's gonna change your
No,
life
for
too.
sure.
It's gonna be better.
Mm-hmm.
That's my honest belief.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That was good. That was good though, because that made me think.
Thank
That was
you.
good. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. 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 I don't know, but
Do you have a question now?
I have more of a comment, I
Go.
guess.
Yeah.
I love like if I'm like in a relationship or whatever. Like I love when the guy remembers little things about me.
Like how detailed? Like not your favorite
Like not
color.
like
It's like more like
no.
that you like
Mm-mm.
pistachios on your ice cream.
Yeah, like it'd be more like
That was random.
yeah, that was so random. Like I don't know, like if I'd be like oh like I don't know, like if I'm just kind of like oh like this is my favorite drink or something and he surprises me with it. Or if I'm like I love personally like me like I love reading. Like I'm such a like bookworm if that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I think. But I love reading. So if he's like oh like let's go to the bookstore or something. Like I know you really like reading. I know you're probably like trying to get the next book from your series. Just like little things where he's like, let's go do this. I know you brought this up a month ago that you wanted to give this a try. Or let's go see this movie that you mentioned like a few weeks ago that's coming out this weekend. Like or how like if I'm sad or if I'm anxious, like he knows exactly how I'm feeling without me having to say it.
That takes time though.
Oh, 1,000%. But vice versa. Like it's definitely not something that I could just
Th-
adapt. But like he can look in my eyes and be like, she does not want to be here. Let's head out. Like you know what
So
I
you don't
mean?
have to say it. So you
No.
do you probably like nonverbal communication just as much as verbal.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's good to know that because if you communicate that, then the guy that you want to speak with should know
Hmm.
to pay closer attention to
Yeah. Exactly.
those parts so they could learn.
Hmm.
But some girls are like only communication. I have like just only talk to me. Don't look at me.
Every, don't look at me, Anthony. Look at the other camera. Like why am I? Don't look at me. But yeah, like yeah, everyone has their own preference. You know, like some guys would probably like want to know, like want girls to know more about them too. It's definitely not like a, you know.
All right. You know what? I'll drop another one.
Oh.
So guys love this, but if you like tell them, if you ask them about what they do and just let them shut up for like 5 minutes, right? Just shut up. Let him talk about what he likes to do for like 5 minutes. Don't interrupt him. Just like say, let him say what he does. He's gonna love you 10 times. No, I'm kidding. that was just funny.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, this is not gonna work. Then I talk way too much. I'm gonna have to chime in like 6 times. One time to figure out what he's even talking about. The next
So what do you like
to,
painting?
Like he's like, yeah, I really like this sport. I'd be like, oh, like what team do you like? Like he's like, I just told you 2 minutes ago. Like I'm always like just chiming in. Like I don't know. Yeah.
No, but I think when you allow a guy to talk about what they're passionate about, they'll tell you. Oh, they'll tell you things that they'll never tell you in any other context.
Oh yeah, and you'll see the glow in his eyes. Like he's so passionate about something. You can tell immediately.
And if you get to that point, you might have got him. If you
Right.
get those glowy eyes, you let him talk about podcasting, or you let him talk about his favorite sports team, or his favorite
Right.
novel if he reads, favorite book. That's the same thing. Stupid. Favorite movie series, right? All of these things.
Yeah.
Like, so it's good. It's good. It's a good thing to know. Like, so I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I feel like a lot of the things like work related, most of the time girls are not interested in, and I don't blame them. Like if I sat here and talked about software engineering and artificial intelligence and exactly how it works and all of the functions
Right.
running it and the algorithms, I think I'd lose you in the first 2 minutes, and I don't blame you.
Yeah, to an extent.
Right.
I think it honestly depends on the girl, to be honest with you.
Average girl. Lost.
I
Lost in the sky. They're gone. It's like releasing a balloon. It floats to the sky. It's gone.
I maybe. Yeah, I think it just depends on what you're doing too, because like me personally, sorry, totally just got a phone. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Okay, whatever. But like me personally, like I love learning, right? So like I don't know, I love learning. So if there's like something like where like if the guy's in software engineering, like I want to know what he does. Like I'm not saying like teach me the history of like Java, if that's even an option.
That's good. Shout out to my software
Is
engineers.
Java and what you do? Yeah.
No,
okay,
no,
cool.
but-
Okay, perfect.
no.
Or Python. I don't care about Python. Don't even tell me that. Do not talk to me about Python, bro. I don't like snakes. I don't like this virtual stuff. I don't care. Like
Shade has been
I'm gonna
thrown.
be so real. Yeah, I'm gonna be so real. No, like, but like, I want to know like a day in the life. Like, if he does software engineering, personally, I'm interested in software engineering. But don't tell me like the codes. Like, tell me like, yeah, like at this point I go to meetings, or at this point I break this down. Like, I want to know stuff like that. You know?
Oh, you don't want to know about all the code? That's how our brain thinks.
Okay, you know what? Like, if someone asks me about marketing, I'm not gonna go talk about the algorithm and the content creation. I'm gonna talk about like the fun stuff that he'll understand. You know?
Oh, that's a problem. There's no fun stuff in programming. That's the myth.
Okay, you know what?
It's all logic. No, but
We can't win,
No, I'm
guys,
just-
with
I
Anthony.
was-
We cannot win.
no, there is. There's definitely. I'm glad you brought that up. You're probably not the average girl, because I don't think they care, honestly.
It just depends on what he does. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain fields I do not care. If he was in accounting, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I do not
He's in
care
accounting.
what
He's
you
in
do.
construction. He's a bricklayer.
No.
He's carrying trash. Like these are all these are most jobs. The dirty jobs are the most jobs, by the way.
That is true. Yeah,
And so
for sure.
sometimes they have a good day and they want to talk about it, but they're not going to hear that. They're not going to get an opportunity. Is my point. They're not going to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, you know what?
No, for sure.
I usually pick up trash at this house. They always leave things without bags. It's all loose garbage. And finally,
Yeah.
for the grace of God, they put everything in a bag for us. That made me happy today.
Right.
And if they tell you that, the girl's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, basically. Okay, yeah. There's definitely certain aspects where like no girl's gonna want it, but vice versa. Like, there's definitely probably some jobs you hear that us girls have. You're just like, I don't.
All of
If a
them.
girl's
No,
like,
just kidding. All of them.
noted. I totally understand
That's
now.
good.
That's totally. You know what's so funny is that like that's kind of true, you know, because anytime when a guy, no, listen, you're right. You're guilty and you just proved yourself. No. You dug that hole. You better sit in it or jump in it, whatever you want to call
Made
it.
my bed lay in it.
Because listen, yeah, because it made your bed lie in it. Because even when I talk about because I do marketing, and every time I talk about marketing, like if there's a guy, he'll be like, "Oh, so you just like post on Instagram?" I'm like, "No, there's like this and they don't want to hear it." They're like, "Oh yeah, so they'll tune it out and be like, "Oh yeah, you just listen to social, you just watch social media." I'm like, there's so much more factors in what you think, dude. But like they don't care to hear it. They're like, "Oh yeah, I don't use Instagram much," and I'm like, I don't care. Like that's cool.
That's like one part of it. That's just like
Exactly, but they that's all they think. So they're like, why would I want to know that? And I don't blame them. Like, to each their own.
so. I guess in synopsis, it goes very much both ways there.
Oh,
So no one gives a
1000%.
crap about our jobs. So don't talk about it, guys. Don't listen. First
don't-
first you're on a date, right? Don't talk about your job
talk
on the
about your
like the
job.
first couple questions. Just save it to the end. Save it to
Yeah,
like,
just don't even, guys, don't even go down that path. It's not gonna.
just don't even say that you work. No, no,
No,
no.
don't even say you work. Just be like, I don't want to tell
Don't
you.
even mention. Don't even open the door.
Nope. You better keep that door closed. Keep it locked. Keep it locked, Anthony.
Don't talk about.
It's so bad.
That's so funny. I mean, yeah, it was a joke, but there's some truth to it, I guess.
No, 1000%. There's no ifs or buts around that one.
Man, I'm so interested. Okay, let me know if you want to talk about this, but conventions. Or we could.
I'm gonna get so canceled, but I'm so down. That's totally okay.
All right, guys, we're transitioning. Not our genders. We're just transitioning the podcast.
To the convention.
See,
The
how to get
convention.
canceled. No,
Yes.
So we want to talk about conventions. So just so for those who don't know what we're talking about, conventions are places for similar cultured people to go and meet other similar cultured people. So for us, we have one. I know a lot of different religions. They have their own version of it. We just call ours a convention. And I've met Jordyn at one, like 2 years ago.
No, 4.
4
Really?
years?
You don't know? You're unbelievable.
Don't tell me it's 4 years now.
It was in Detroit.
That's 4
we
years
went
ago?
Detroit, Chicago, Jackson. Oh, 3 years.
Okay, I was about to say, all right, 3 years is okay.
No. There was another one, wasn't there? After Detroit, was it Chicago?
No, it has to, that's it. Yeah, Chicago's after Detroit.
Okay, so 3 years. Yeah, you said 2 years.
I was about.
We're going on to 4.
Okay, but it was in the middle of us. Okay.
Why am I gonna beef with him about this? do you remember what I don't even know if I should say it. I'm probably not gonna. Do you remember what I said when I first met you?
No, I don't.
Okay, never mind. I made a really, really mean joke. Like, it wasn't even about him. It was just about like our community.
Part of me knows it, but I don't want to sound stupid, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, no. He was like, oh my gosh.
He's so popular.
I think like everyone's forgetting that like I'm like filming a podcast right now.
Guys, I'm recording a pod.
No, seriously, I'm literally like texting that right now.
GTFOD.
No, but yeah, okay, so back to the convention. Oh.
Go for it. Go. I'm
You
waiting.
seem to-
I'm waiting. I'm ready.
Okay, so yeah, so as Anthony said, basically like a group of people meet up every year, and the idea of it is to kind of meet people to like get married. Like, you can have fun, but the end goal is to literally find a husband or a wife, hopefully one that like is from a different, because if you're from like a certain area, like you guys are a lot of you are probably related, so the goal is to find somebody you're not pretty much related to, or
Or maybe you
like
are.
I've seen both ways. Yeah, there's definitely been, but
It's all right.
overall, like it's just to get married, like the best way to describe it. And
I want to. Can I just before you get into that?
yeah, go for it.
So many people you ask, they will not keep it 1,000. Yo, what's the
No,
purpose of convention? Oh, it's just to make friends. No, it's not. It's not to make
no, it's
friends.
not.
Okay, you know what friends
Mm-mm.
are for?
You ain't there for your
Yeah,
friends.
like keep it 1,000. That thing has been established for a purpose. Yes, you can meet friends
That's
there, but the purpose
yeah.
of it is to find someone to get married with, create a family. Now, feel
Oh
free to
yeah.
take it over. Just wanna say-
So every time somebody asks me where are you going, I say it's to hang out with my cousins because I'm just like I don't want to find anybody there. But I don't I love the idea of the convention. The convention, you get together every year, you guys have a great time together, you meet people, you party, like you make like Anthony's such a good friend that I made there. Like you meet so many amazing people. I have so many friends that I look forward to seeing every year from all over the country, like New York, Florida, Chicago, like anything like that. But I just think the whole marriage thing, if you find somebody, that's awesome. But I don't like the way conventions are organized because, from a girl's perspective, we spend all this money on our outfits. We get our nails done, we get our makeup done, we dress up like walking, like beautiful, beautiful girls, in hopes that someone will want us to marry us, like will want like to be married to us. And to me, it's just like if something is sent by the will of God, like my entire family has gotten married from this convention. So they were obviously meant to meet each other. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that your only way of finding somebody is at like a 4-day convention at a random city with money, so much money spent of you dressing up the way you are in hopes for someone to find you attractive and want to marry you. I think it's ridiculous. Like, if a guy is going to marry me, he's going to like obviously find me attractive, but like my personality, my heart, the way I am is also just as important, not even more. It's like if it's just my appearance, like it's not just appearance.
But you're right. You're right about that. I agree with you. However, how are you going to even get to the part of the personality part if you don't even see each other in the first place? Because we talked about this before.
Exactly.
Like guys, they only see with their eyes. Like they have no other senses. It's like, are you attractive? All right, let's talk. And so like but then
Yeah.
like the really important stuff is a personality.
Yeah.
So some guys are nearsighted. They only see one dimension. But
Right.
in order, so what if you were to change the format of the convention? How would you
Mm.
make it so that it's more, you know, in the direction that helps you meet guys and see your personality more than the looks part? You
Right.
think maybe less parties?
Yeah. Okay, so before I begin, if you hear my puppy, like I have a puppy, if she's like just making noise in the background, she's just chilling. So just tune that out. But I don't know if you can hear it. But honest to God, I don't. Here's the thing. I think it's because they always portrayed as it is like a marriage fest. I don't think you can go back. Like, I don't think there's any way possible where they could be like, it's not like that. Because even if you walk up to somebody of the opposite gender, someone's going to think you guys are trying to talk. Or if you walk up to a guy and a girl, like you're interrupting like a conversation that they're trying to have to get to know each other. And I think like, but there's also the factor of like what we talked about, like personality. Like if the man is just, how is he, like, how are you going to coordinate a way where he doesn't look through my looks? Like if he just only pays attention to my looks, that's on him. Like
But
it's like if he's not going to like,
that
I don't know.
that happens
I
for
don't
such
know.
a brief amount of time, though. It's not 4. We don't need 4 days to determine that. You need a good
That is also
5 minutes. Good lighting.
That's also
You need
true.
good lighting. Line up the camera. No, I'm kidding. You need good lighting, but like about 5 minutes and you're good. Then you got 4 days to figure this out. But you're talking. That is such a good point. I never heard that before.
They drilled it into our
The
heads.
expectation is so high that people, like if two people are talking, that means you can't just go up and kind of have a conversation because you're interrupted. That's such a good
Yeah.
point. I never thought of that. And like,
Yeah,
everyone's gonna be like, if you're talking to another girl, like opposite genders are talking, yeah, they're trying to
Yeah.
they're trying to get married. That's the number one thing. But it's like, no, they're just
Yeah.
talking to maybe get to that point.
Yeah, get to know each other. But also, and then it's like the standards are just unreal. Like we get up at like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning. We're all dolled up. Like the girls have all this makeup on. Our hair is done. Our outfits are amazing. The guys are all dressed up like in like fancy shirts and shorts and
Suits.
nice slacks. Suits, literally at like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. Like no one logically, like we don't do that on a daily basis. So the fact that we do that for like a couple days a week, like remember like, oh, can I tell them the sweatpants story?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so here's a backstory. We were in Chicago, and I was dressed up from like 7 in the morning to 1 in the morning. So like literally a full day, basically, like going into a full day. And no one sleeps at these conventions. We go to bed at 6 o'clock and then we wake up at 7. We do it all over again. If you sleep, you did not do convention. I don't care what anybody says at that point. But when it was 1 in the morning, I changed into sweatpants because I wanted to be comfortable. I had my makeup done. My hair was done. I had my nice jewelry on. The outfit was still pretty solid. I just had sweatpants on and I had blazers. Like I had my Nike blazers. And I thought it was just like nice, like a nice outfit to just casually wear. I still get scolded to this day for wearing that pair of sweatpants 5 minutes into wearing this outfit.
5 minutes? You only got 5 minutes and then you start hearing it?
Yeah. A girl looked at me and was like, "You're so bold for wearing that right now."
Oh, she was saying something different.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, right. And to top it off, this other guy that I got to know a few hours prior, and he was really cool. He thought I was cool. This was years ago. Like, I don't even know the guy. Like, it was like literally we just met each other. He saw me in sweatpants and he was like, he would not speak to me after that. Once he saw me change out of my dress from the banquet, because it was banquet night. Banquet night's like the last night where you dress up and you're super fancy. After I took off the banquet outfit and I wore this outfit, he was like, and he would not speak to me. And it's totally okay. You know, that's his preference. I'm not going to hate on him for it. Was I offended? At one point, 100,000%. Because it's like, bro, you just saw me dressed up. You know I can look good. Like, what's the, like, my hair is not tied in a messy bun. I'm not looking like I just woke up. But, like, okay. Like, if we're going to play that game, let's roll.
Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it a stack. If a guy, at after party, you know, everyone else is dressed up, a guy comes in sweatpants, he's gonna get scolded?
No, man, no. I see boys. I'll see boys with snapbacks backwards, like their little like black shorts. You're right. It's always black shorts, and then like a hoodie, and then there's oh, they look so good. Look at them go.
Yeah.
You are wearing a snapback, but if I wear blazers, my nice Nike blazers that are probably more expensive than your snapback, then I can't. Obviously, it's gonna be more expensive. It's a hat, but then I can't wear that.
Double standard. That's a double standard.
But there was one positive out of this entire thing. Oh my gosh, my earbud literally is slipping. There is one positive because one of my friends, he's actually, you might be friends with him. He's an amazing guy. This is like me like giving this kid full credit. We're just friends. Like he's such a cool guy. But the way I met this guy was the night where all that went down with me wearing the sweatpants. Now this is at the end of the night. And now we're going to like 4 in the morning. And I was so embarrassed and I just was like kind of like upset. This boy randomly walked up to me with like my cousin with Fuad, bro. We gotta shout out Fuad. I'm sorry.
Shout out the Palestinian juggernaut. Keep it 1,000. That's my G.
Shout out to Fuad Chada. Okay, but he walks up to me. I hope Fuad was with him, whatever. And then he says, "You know, you are probably one of the realest people I've met tonight because of what you're wearing." He's like, most people. I know. He was like, most people come decked out in like all these fancy outfits. And he's not just talking about girls. He's saying girls and guys. He's like, and you showed your true colors. You're like, this is me. This is how I really am outside of convention. He's like, and you weren't ashamed of it. He's like, we need more people like that. Like, it was the nicest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, oh my God.
I respect that. Real? I respect that.
Like, people like that is real. Like, that to have that good personality. I was like, that was so kind, bro.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, damn. Yo, shout out to the guy.
I honestly think you guys are friends. Like, I swear.
All right, I'll have a little talk with him. We'll see. We'll see his side of the story. No.
Unreal.
No, that's good, though. I mean, you're right. There is a double standard. And I think that partly exists because people, the grown-ups, want you looking your best always so that there's no chance for you to get denied over something stupid like this.
Yes.
So that's the reality. But outside the convention, you dress sweatpants. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm dressing in sweatpants outside the convention all the time. You should see my
Right.
daily drivers are like I never wear jeans, almost never. My I mean, I
Yeah.
do wear like nicer, I guess, shorts in the summer.
Hmm.
But for the
Hmm.
most part, I mean, in the winter time, it's sweatpants. I
Yeah.
only
It's sweatpants.
if I'm going out though, I'll dress jeans. I'm more conscious
Yeah.
about how I dress now because I
Hmm.
like the way I look better. It just helps. But like for the
Right.
most part, I don't care either way. I don't do it just
Hmm.
to look really good or whatever. I just do it because I guess maybe it's like more socially acceptable. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've fallen into the trap.
Exactly.
But hey, I'll take it. Whatever.
But I can't lie, like, no, but even like one more example of that is like my hair obviously is very curly. Like, this isn't even anything of it. This is like day two. But like my hair in the morning, like I take a shower in the morning, so my hair is curly throughout the day. But I remember when I was at the convention one time, we had to be out the door, but did you go on the boat ride?
Yeah. Chicago?
So we had a boat ride. We had like a yacht party kind of in the morning. We had to be out the door by 8 a.m. And my hair, you can't tell, it comes down to my waist. Okay. It's very curly, it's thick, and it comes to my waist. I took a shower and my hair was a little wet, but it was curly. It just needed to dry up. It was 8 in the morning. I got so many stares. I'm calling myself out because I'm trying to explain to everybody like these things happen and I totally learned from it to never do these things again. But my hair was wet in the morning and I got looked down upon for it.
Why is that? Well, I don't get it though. What's
Because it wasn't styled and like dry and all this stuff. It looked like I just got out of the shower, which I did. But because I didn't look prepared, I didn't look presentable, it looked bad.
wow? It goes that
Yeah.
far? That the arms of
Yeah.
our people, it reaches that deep? Damn.
Yeah. But I can't lie, the girls at the convention, gorgeous. These girls are models. I think like every girl I've ever walked past at any of these conventions, they are literally stunning. I love the girls at these conventions. They're so pretty. We all hype each other up, so I think it's so cute. But that's just my perspective. I like, and I also like, and they always look ready to go. So I was like, oh, I gotta look better than that. So I learned this year, and I looked way more presentable than I did in the past.
And did that work better in your favor this year?
Not really.
Well, I mean,
No, but to be honest, I'm
did,
sorry.
did you
sorry.
get like more like did you at least have more
Attention?
meaning? Yeah, attention or meaningful conversations. Like, did it help?
Okay, I definitely. Yeah, I did.
That's why I'm asking.
I mean, to not get looked down upon, 1,000%. Like, yeah. To not get like in trouble, yeah, for sure. But I didn't have intention of looking. Like this year, I was definitely like, I just want to have fun. I just want to hang out with my cousins. I really didn't come in like, okay, who's gonna be like you know what I mean? Because I always learned that like if you don't look for it, like then it'll come to you.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about that after we go. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like, so I didn't look for it, and I'm really glad that I didn't, because I think, like, everything works out the way it should, and I feel like it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is the quintessential point. When you go to these places, when you go trying to meet people, or you're going to any event where you're trying to meet other people, don't tunnel vision on the fact that you're supposed to meet somebody. Just
Yes.
be yourself, be in person, be
Yes.
present, and things will just happen that way. Don't force it. Everyone wants to force it. Don't force it because you're not going to be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah.
I just gotta.
Yeah,
You just gotta
exactly.
say it, man, because it's annoying. Like, because no one is looking for that fakeness, and it goes on both sides, bro. It goes on both sides.
There's no such thing as that just being on, like, a one-sided way. It's
Yeah,
both sides
that-
1,000%.
100%. Mostly to the guys, maybe, but it goes both ways. I've seen it on both ways. Like, just be present.
Yeah.
Don't be too nervous. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about some things. Let's see if you're a bit interesting. You can hold a conversation, etc.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that got me
But,
fired
like-
up.
Yeah, but the convention's not end all be all, it's like, and I think sometimes people these days like fear that, whereas like back in the day, like it was a totally different world, I feel like, so I think it was easy for that to like, that's why everyone got married from it back in the day. But I think these days, like if you meet somebody from there, that's amazing. Like I know so many people that are dating each other or they're married now. Like it's such a beautiful thing to see, but it's also like it's not something I'm like, you know what
You're
I
not
mean?
forcing
like my
it.
path is my path. No, my
Yeah.
path is my path. Like, and
Like
whatever happens, like, I'm excited for
you're
it.
not you're just living presently, and if it happens,
Exactly.
it happens, but you're not forcing it. That's the main
Right.
idea. I think a lot of people should do that because if you force it, you're just going to create anxiety, and if you have anxiety, you're not going to be your
Mm-hmm.
total self, and you're just not going to
Mm-hmm.
make the moves that you would normally make. And
Yeah.
you just got to be present. Like, yeah, you also it's an entry point. It ain't the final
Mm-hmm.
product. You're meeting people for the first time. Don't think about marriage right there. Don't think
No.
about marriage then, because you don't know. You don't know the person at all. You don't. So just take it slow. You gotta take it
Yeah.
easy. And man, you get to know people really quick though if you have really good conversations. I've had the pleasure of having many good conversations with many different girls from these conventions. Very nice. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had a great conversation just our last convention.
That
So
was the
funny though.
funniest night of
So
my
funny.
life.
Yo.
That conversation is what got this whole thing rolling right now. If that situation didn't happen to me, we would not be on this podcast talking right now.
Yeah, it was that powerful. But
That was so
guess
funny.
what? It was like live present. Just talk. Be present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be an alien.
No.
That's my advice.
Something happened.
That's the thumb. Don't be an alien.
Don't be an alien, yeah. Something happened. Thought it was hilarious. Caught Anthony eating like Arabic sweets in the corner.
Listen,
So I
gotta
had
do
to
it.
tell him the story. Yeah. It was truly like best night ever. I think that was honestly my favorite part of the whole thing. It was just such a good time at that point. Like I can't lie to you. I think it was great.
Listen, those sweets were really good too. Did you try them?
Yeah, of course. Of
They're
course.
bad. They're good. Oh man, no,
Ladyfingers? Oh
that was
my
my favorite night too. I would think.
yeah.
Because like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was like the most interaction I had that night. I think in the whole convention. I didn't really interact honestly that much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Or yeah.
that was.
If you interact, you have to think before you talk. And I think like at that conversation, I was not thinking. I
I
was
w-
like, "Yo, this is what happened."
So, man, that was a convention talk. I mean, anything else I would say though with the convention is that I love it. I wanna hopefully run one. I think it's important for our culture. If I can help be somewhat responsible for people seeing each other for the first time, that's a huge honor. It's a huge honor because
Hmm.
there's a lot of crap happening politically, and so what I would like to do is just bring people together at the very least. And if I could do
Yeah.
that, I mean, I'm winning. I'm winning. Not I like to see it. So
Yeah.
we'll see one day.
The, yeah. It's honestly, it really is a blessing. Like even though there's like fears of like marriage or like certain aspects, like the convention itself, you guys are all coming from all over the country to come together to meet with your own people. Like I think it's such a beautiful concept, and I think it brings us closer to like our roots, things that like our grandparents like did when they were younger, and our parents. So I think like we're so grateful to have such a tight community like that for like us to really experience that in America, because I feel like a lot of people like don't really have that like some people definitely do, but I don't think others have that opportunity. So it's like
Mm.
it's all what you put in and what you want out of it. Like I always came home satisfied. I always had a great time. I always met such amazing people. And it's something I really just recommend like for people to like get involved in.
Yeah, get involved. Help make it happen for more people.
Be the magic for it, you know?
You want to give an outro?
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I got this. I got this. Wait, should I just repeat it again?
Whatever you want. It's the floor is yours.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to my podcast, Blazar. I'm just kidding, guys. It's all Anthony. This is Blazar Vision Media. We had such a blast talking to you guys today and just getting a new aspect of relationships. So yeah, Anthony, anything else you want to add?
Man, if anyone else wants to join the podcast, if you guys were inspired by this or if you thought this was fun, jump on the podcast. Let's get more people. This is the first remote podcast we did, and Jordyn killed it. Absolutely killed this episode. I don't know how I'm gonna recover from this. I gotta try to raise the bar. I don't know. It's gonna be difficult.
Thank you.
But no, this was a very good episode. Jordyn, very very happy that you joined. It's an honor. It's an honor. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. This was so much fun, and I'm so glad we got to reconnect again with this.
Yeah, this is dope. This is dope. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Peace out, guys.
Bye.